Well, we could start with a smile at least, can't we? What a beautiful day, spring day. Taurus, my birthday today. What am I doing? Sitting here on my own again. Not one card, not an email, not a telephone call, not a present. Do you know, I'm beginning to wonder if I exist. If I didn't talk to you, I think I might not exist. I called on Saint Germain. I said, do you think I exist? Well, he wouldn't answer, but I did some violet flame decrees. That seems to help. But honestly, I'm at a loss because I'm usually pretty good at working out what is the problem, why. But every year it's the same with Christmases. The celebration times is when I'm really on my own, and there must be a purpose in that, mustn't there? I think I know what it is, but I'm getting a bit fed up with it now. This is my, well, I won't say what birthday it is, but it's a very old birthday. I might not live a lot longer anyway. I keep hoping I should go because the way the world is, I don't care much for it now. Especially in England with all these people coming in, and oh, that's another story. So I'm sitting here thinking I've got to do something. It started off this morning wondering what to do. I tend to think I used to go out for tea on my own. I don't do that anymore. It's not much fun on your own, is it really? I mean, I've done it. I don't want to go on doing it. And so I usually manage to grab somebody in a supermarket. You can imagine I'm good at chatting people up. If I meet a woman on the supermarket and she's buying, we get talking. I said, shall we meet up? And people are quite responsive to that. And I have had some quite disastrous meetups actually with women. One woman in particular spent a whole hour talking about herself and her boyfriend and how wealthy she was, and I sat there and had to pay for my own tea. I keep meeting people that are so peculiar. I don't know what that's telling me either. Well, probably I'm peculiar, but at least I keep my word and I have got integrity and I'm sincere, I know that. This recent lady I met, the very kind lady who took me under her wing for a while, she's just vanished. I've rung her several times, she's just vanished. And she was very helpful initially. I thought, well, that's someone else has let me down. And this gardener man, you see, today I thought it's a fantastic day. Should I drive to Lincoln, which is 25-mile drive, then you've got to park up and walk to the cathedral. I mean, it's not an easy trip. It's a challenge for me, being unable to walk far these days. Being in pain, and all the hassle and the stress. I think, is it worth it? So I went into complete conflict. I'm not very good at making decisions. I go into this complete. In fact, I sometimes think my brain's not going to cope with it. This conflict that goes on. So I had to do some quiet meditation to calm myself down. I thought, well, I daren't do anything too much because the gardener that I recently found is supposed to be turning up today. He'll come on the next fine day, he says. Where is he? Not here? No, I don't even know where he lives, so I can't contact him. So I'm sitting here thinking, my grass is, well, the other chap, I won't go into it all, but I have had it cut once by the man opposite. I talked to his wife in the chemist. I said, would he cut my grass for me? And he did, for £15. And this is another one that turned up the same day. I haven't told you about all this. I'm sidetracking a bit because it's got very confusing. So the one that was cut, the main one, he knocked on my door. Sorry about this. Once I got the man opposite, no, I asked his wife, that's right, and I didn't know whether he was coming or not. So that night, someone knocked on my door and said, you left your keys in the lock. So I said, do you cut grass? Yes, he said. Right, oh, you're on. He got a lawnmower and all the stuff, Unfortunately, he turned up the next day, the same day as the other one turned up. So I managed to get out of it quite well, really. The other one turned up, the husband, cut the grass, and he didn't mind me employing the other one because he was more expert, if you know what I mean. So I had the grass cut briefly, not very long, not very good, with my tatty lawnmower, and this new one's supposed to come with all the equipment. He's just not turned up. So this is how the day started off, thinking, shall I go out or shall I wait in for this chap to cut my grass, which is getting out of hand, as you know. So I sat around and think, well, I'll wait for a bit, got myself dressed and stuff, and I sat here and I put some music on or something. Looked through the emails, the usual thing, and I thought, well, what shall I do? There was it the more it went on, the worse it got. I still didn't know what I was going to do. I suppose I was half expecting a card or some flowers or something from my daughter. Not a single thing. I mean, this is a girl that teaches mindfulness, but spiritual teaching. She's a doctor of psychology and she's very well off with counselling. And she can't even send her mum a birthday card. I mean, forget the card, how about an email or a phone call or something? So I'm fighting that. I have had this before, as you know, several birthdays. It's becoming a habit now. She doesn't bother. She doesn't bother at all with me now. She's obviously wants to get rid of me, and I've accepted that in a way. I can't change that. So I was sitting here thinking, well, the more I thought about it, the worse it got. Where's the gardener? Where's anybody just wishing me happy birthday? Even my spirit friends haven't said happy birthday, which I think is a bit remiss. Excuse me, I got hay fever. Oh. And so I thought, well, I've got to do something. I can't sit here. I couldn't understand whether it was a failure on my part to take action or whether I was listening to another part of me that was saying, don't take action. Are you understanding? This is terribly complicated, isn't it? No matter what my mind's like. I've worked out what it is. I think it's a battle. I've had it before. A battle that goes on between the spirit self, the higher self, and my ego self. And the two are like deciding who's going to win, you know? I expect you've experienced that. I don't know, but I'm very good at this because I'm not very good at decision making. I never know whether to do something or not do something. So I'm in this conflict most of the time, trying to decide which is the best for me. So I ask my higher self, what is the best in the highest interest, all that stuff. And I still don't get very far with it. One of the masters said to me only years ago, he said, which is the stronger feeling? And I think at the end of the day, you have to go by your intuition. Well, my intuition was to take it in my car, drive off to Lincoln 25 miles or have a coffee and do something cheerful. But then I think my other bit came in and said, you're going to make yourself ill, because with this illness I've got, which is myalgic encephalitis, now I know, if you do too much, you make yourself so ill, you're ill for weeks. So you've got to really balance the energies. And I read somewhere that we are here to balance out energy anyway, to understand what it all is and what it's about. So I'm in this conflict on my birthday with nothing, absolutely nothing. And I'm sitting here, it's now, 12 o'clock. I have got to do something. I've got to take action of some sort. So I know I can't go in the garden. I haven't got the energy for that. So I'm doing this video. I hope I'm not confusing you all. But the teas, I mean, the last year, no, I left my husband. I'm going to check the time. Left my husband 35 years ago. Actually, on March the 10th, 1988. I left the silly bugger. I paid the price. I paid a very, very high price for my freedom. As women do more than men, because I think it's still a man's world. Men have got the money and the power. Women, especially my age, they usually haven't led much of a life because they're home with the kids. And I'm very independent, so I'm lucky that I had that. I have my own bank account. I have my independence. So that was 35 years ago. But since then, I've not had a birthday tea. Well, one or two, as I say, were complete strangers. I picked them up at the supermarket. I've never had a birthday tea with a man, I must admit. But the women I've had, I mean, they are, well, I suppose the lesson is here not to be desperate. Better no company than some company. But on your birthday, you want to share a cup of tea with somebody, don't you? Well, I do. There's not much to ask. Another tea another girlfriend I had for tea, she'd been to my house several times, and she'd had, I do nice things for people. I do salmon sandwiches, tea in proper porcelain cups, you know. I do a good afternoon tea. I went to her house, and she's a wealthy woman. She came in with 2 iced buns, thick, solid buns that were a little bit stale, and tea in a mug. Now I think to myself, is this deliberate? Is it a jealousy thing, that she knows I can do things very nicely? She didn't want to do the same, or was she showing off? Was she trying to sort of put me down? It was very deliberate, I thought. It was an insult, really, an afternoon tea. I wouldn't have called it an afternoon tea. I had called it a Joe's Cafe snack bar. Another tea I went out for, I picked this woman up, I think in a florist or something, I can't remember, and we met for the tea at the garden centre. And they all talk about themselves. I mean, you think I do, but I don't. This is why I talk to you. I don't have anybody else to talk to. Nobody listens to me. I get all the strange stories. This one, she was telling me how her husband had had two wives, and she had all these glass decanters she didn't know what to do with. She was loaded, and I pay for my tea. I could go on, but I won't. I mean, I'm going to finish up with a positive tea. And when my daughter was 18, this is a very sad outcome, that she's not bothering with me at all. I simply don't know what the problem is. I've given up. I'm not going to ask her. I don't know. She's off her head, I think. Something's happened. She's not well. So this 18-year-old student, she was lovely. Well, she still is lovely, but then she was much more with me, much more interested in me. And she rang me. She said, Mum, it's my 50th birthday. Oh, I'm reaching my age now, aren't I? My 50th birthday, I just left my husband, lived in a flat with no heat. That's another story. And a very cold flat. And she said, come to see me. I was in my GTI, I had a lovely GTI car. Bring your car and a best dress and drive over to see me in Leicester. I've got a surprise for you. So I did, and we got there, and we got in the car, and I was driving along. So where are we going? She said, we're going to Stratford. You might imagine where we were going to Stratford Theatre. We got to the theatre. No, we didn't. We got to a little bed and breakfast called Twelfth Night. Twelfth Night is one of the stories of Shakespeare's plays. And so we got to the theatre, and it was a delightful little bed and breakfast place, and she produced a chocolate cake with a candle in it. Isn't that lovely? She produced a chocolate cake and 2 tickets for the theatre that night to see a Shakespeare play, Twelfth Night. It was absolutely the most memorable time I think I've ever had with her. And we went out for a meal afterward to an Italian restaurant, which I love, stayed the night in this little bed and breakfast place, and then drove back to her place the next day. And I think I did read somewhere, and it is true, I found it's very true, that when you really are going through a bad time, you've got to call in the memories, call in the good times. And I'm trying to think of that lovely birthday that she gave me. It was absolutely, for a teenager, a student, I think she was still a student then, to arrange that. I think she rang my parents for some help financially, but she arranged all that. A theatre and a bed and breakfast place in Stratford, and one of my highlights of my lifetime, I should imagine, and I'm thinking about it now, so trying to make that the memory, because as Joshua said, nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. So I do believe that it took me a while to work out what it means. It means that the good memories, all the positive things, the lovely things that have happened to it, are there, still there, very real, very, very real. And so that's still a memory. So it's happened yesterday. It's so real in my mind. But as you get older, you do get these memories that are really strong and very ancient. It's quite surprising, actually. So the ones that are not very good, I'm trying to dismiss those as not being real. Can you imagine what I'm going through today, sitting here on my own? Lovely sunny day. I should be out there having tea with somebody, having a present, having a good time like everybody else does. If somebody can give me an answer, I'm going to look at the time again. Good Lord, it's 14 minutes. I better go. Anyway, more on that note another time. I hope you enjoyed the video. There's a moral there somewhere. So take care of yourselves. God bless for now. Have a good day.